Okay, so today's video is a little bit different. I was requested to make a tutorial by, let's see, who was it? By Liskik official, I guess. Uh, so we're gonna be making Joseph's scarf, and I'm just gonna go over like kind of my thought process and like what buttons I press. So off the bat, since it's a scarf, right, goes around your neck, I'm gonna make it so you use a cylinder. For optimization reasons, instead of using 32 vertices like around, we're gonna do 16, just so it's like slightly easier to render, even though Ricardo's cape is like 19k tris. I have a second monitor pulled up with references. And a lot of times when you see me not moving the cursor, it's because I'm looking through more references for specific parts. But yeah, so the scarf goes in like this more. It's like tilts outwards. And whenever I'm making scarves with cylinders, I like to use proportional editing mode. You press O on your keyboard and it opens this thing, where basically the white circle appears. You can use your scroll wheel to like increase or decrease the effect range for it to like go up or down, like basically, yeah. And you can see the face out here is glitching, so most of the time I would delete these just so it's like slightly easier on the eyes and less confusing. Obviously you turn off proportional editing mode to like edit in more precise ways. You do this, right? Basically I just go through here, and you'll notice that that over there is clipping a little bit. What I'm gonna do, instead of editing 4 different spots, front, back over here, and then front, back over here again, I'm gonna press Z to go into wireframe mode. You can see I could just select most stuff. I know you could just press this, but I don't like it because there's no like keybind for it. I'll just press Z, go into wireframe mode, press B for this wire thing. You hold it down and you can like select a box of stuff basically. You do this, you let go, it selects, and then delete the faces. And we're gonna go over here to the wrench and mirror this for this. Just mirrors it, and I could easily go into here and just like, I'm double tapping G to slide it across these pre-existing lines. Slide it over here, press G, regular G to like translate, move it. Now it's not clipping anymore. Now just do this over here. And that's pretty much it for that. And then you apply it, pretty easy, unlike Blender 2.8 where you have to go to the 3 little dots for some reason. I really don't like that feature. Other than that, we're gonna, this is C. You press C for this bubble. It's the same thing with the box, but just like more convenient. Left click to select, right click to disable, middle click to deselect. You do this just to smoothen it out a little bit. And now we want to flatten this over here because scarves don't really do this. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do the same thing. Move the vertices over, make them flatter. Do that basically. Yeah, and then do the same for the back. Like that. And then I forgot to mention 1, 3, and 7, I believe, yeah, is like the 3 main views. If you don't have a numpad, you want to go into preferences and enable emulate numpad. That thing is very useful. I use it on all my things because I don't like using the numpad. But basically, you do this for quick swaps. Pretty good. Very convenient. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna scale pressing S, and only by the x-axis. So you can see it's only scaling by x. You can press Y or Z to change the axis scaling by. You do that just to make it like more skin tight, I guess. And what I'm noticing right now is Joseph's scarf actually has like 2 layers. It wraps around his neck twice. So we're gonna press Ctrl R to loop cut. We're gonna expand by pressing S and not limiting by X, Y, or Z. Press G to move it, and then Z. You can see the line up there, it locks up to Z, so you just push it up. and we're gonna do this again. Slide it to the bottom, size down, and now it looks like there's 2 layers, right? And actually, I'm gonna delete this right here. You can press Alt Shift. Well, you only have to press Alt and right click to do the loop thing, but I like holding it Shift just in case, because most of the time we're gonna select multiple things anyways. We're gonna delete this. We're gonna push this down a little bit. I'm noticing that you know, the long strands that comes out of the first and second part. I'm assuming to save budget, because it is very annoying to draw out like actual scarf wraps. So probably for that, we're gonna do this, make it detach a little bit, and actually I want to loop cut these 2 places, move this up to smoothen it out a little bit while still keeping the edge. I'm not gonna do that here. I might, maybe. For the back too, yeah, because this part is covered. You can't really see the bottom, so I don't think it's a big deal. Alright, let's see. We're gonna add. You press Shift C to send this thing back into the center. We're gonna add a plane for the scarf thing itself, and I'm gonna size down by X, by Z a little bit. It's gonna be, I think it's 2 of them. How long are they? They go down to like the leg. That is very long. Okay. I didn't add the legs in. The legs are the same height as the torso, so this is fine. I'll make it go down to here. And you press Control plus to like expand like this, select more depending on the first selection. I'm gonna do that. Press P to separate by selection. The thing I'm selecting right now, it splits them into 2 meshes. Okay, we're just gonna do some adjustments. Should they come out on the same spot? Probably. Like right here. And then if I mirror it, it'll look like this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And I'm noticing that the bottom of this scarf is really like big. So we're gonna loop cut here, select the bottom thing, size it up like this. And we're gonna do this. Push it in there and do that on this edge. Okay, now you can see that this thing is clipping right here, so we're gonna loop cut, push it out more, probably have to do it again here. And yeah, and since it comes out, oh actually, it comes out of that way, so you do this, and then it clips in, like wraps around the middle, into the center, like that, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna push this part out more, just so there's like I can add the thickness to it. And this is pretty much what the base, like, before I add a bunch of modifiers in, this is pretty much what it'll look like. What I do a lot is I would select the parts I made, Control Shift D to duplicate it, move it down to the bottom, GZ, and then -5. Just so I can like quick swap it up here if this one messes up. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add the thickness to the scarf. What I like to do is use Solidify. It just makes it thick. It's basically extruding for you, and it's pretty convenient, yeah. And we're gonna size up by Z a little bit more, maybe Y too. I'm gonna size this guy down. I'd say that's pretty good. And the scarf has some flaps, but I add those in after I put in the Solidify modifier, like after I hit apply, because you see here when I do this and loop cut out, it adds one in there too, and we don't want that because you're not gonna see it anyway. You don't really need that. I do notice that this part is very like unsmooth, so we're gonna do this again, select it, delete. And when you do something like this with Solidify and Mirror, whatever is on top takes priority, so you can notice that it solidifies first and then mirrors, which creates these clippings. We don't want that. We're going to click this arrow down or this arrow up to rearrange them, and now it mirrors first, and then it does the solidify, basically. And slightly better, we're going to add a loop cut here. Do this. I'm going to do that to here too. And Let me test out the shading. Okay, there's something around here. Right here, smoothing it out. Maybe one here too. And then I'll move this guy over instead. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, this is just smooth. I'll usually put that on at like almost the very last, or whenever I need to add edges. I don't think that applies here. I can make another video for another easy model later on, but for this case, we're not gonna go over that. Mirror. Now it's mirrored, and I think, let me push these guys out. This right here, I forgot to mention this. Medium point, when you size or like move, I guess, doesn't really apply to move. You size down by the center or individual, which sizes them down individually. We're gonna do median here, so we push that guy out. We're gonna push this guy up. These two, and I'm gonna pull these guys out here, like this. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good. Now we just have to apply, solidify. Now it's like a solid mesh. Ooh, that guy is clipping. That's not good. Let me size this down by X. That should be good. And I'm just gonna separate it, just so it's easier for me to view. What we're gonna do here: loop cut, Control R again, and then you can scroll wheel for the amount you want, or you can just type it. This case 3. I just pressed 3, and now there's 3 cuts. 3 is the ideal thing I use for cloth flaps. Like for example, on Star Platinum's wrist, or the World's like leggings, he has these like those wraps, and you just loop cut 3 times, like these two, size it up, and that's kind of like a flap right there. And when you click smooth, you can do this like this, right? Just smooth the shading out. It's very important because otherwise your models look blocky. And it was a mistake I made as a noob when I first started out. I didn't know how to smooth, and all my models looked like crap. If you're going for low poly though, you could just leave them as flat. But yeah, and I take back what I said about the edge thing earlier. Right here, for example, I did this with Star Platinum Scarf. Like, you know how this just looks like a blob even though it's supposed to look like layers? We're gonna do just like these two, push it down, size it up a little bit more, and we're gonna select this ridge, which is supposed to be like an edge. We go over here and click sharp. Now nothing really happens until you click auto smooth, and then this means it auto smooths anything that's like 80, where like it 30 degrees it cuts these lines. I set it to 180, so only the ones we select are there. So now you can see that's a pretty solid line right here. Ooh, that guy is not good. Come here. Medium point. Push it down. There we go. Now that's one layer. We're gonna do the other one, but first I wanna like slide these inwards a little bit because they look kind of off. So double press G, do that. Slightly push it down by the Z axis. That's slightly smoother, which is pretty good. This guy too, just inwards by the X axis. Now it's slightly smoother, which is good. Okay, now we go up to this guy. We're pretty much gonna do the same thing. Loop cut 3 times. Go to individual point. Scale it up. Push it down. I actually want to push this guy up a little bit more. Maybe I'll push this guy down, and then do this. Yeah. Then smooth at the edge, sharp, auto smooth 180. Now that's the 4 layers. And I'm noticing that he had the center part is slightly thicker than the other side, so we're gonna select these two, hold shift to select one thing and then the other. So instead of just doing like this, hold shift and Control J to join them in. And what I'm gonna do is select these, professional editing mode, scale, not individual, medium point, scale it down, push this down. I'm gonna select, we're gonna go over here, like pull this over, push this down, but pull it up at a smaller scale, push this down. You'll notice that it has like the shape I was talking about. I mean, you couldn't really see my reference, but you get the point, I guess. Like this, where it goes like that. And the flaps are bothering me a little bit. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm gonna scale these guys down actually. Put less emphasis, and then I'm gonna push this guy down. Okay. Looks kind of weird. Again, modeling is kind of like this. You do something, you realize it's kind of weird. It's fine, just keep going, obviously. Maybe it's this part. I do that. Yeah. Not really, though. Let me separate these. Okay, when I just press P, by selection is obviously the ones you're selecting. Material is like different colors. I'll do that when I start adding the stripes in. And loose parts are just whenever something's loose. So these parts aren't connected, so they get separated, basically. And I'm gonna actually do this. Push these down. Scale it up, actually. Push them down. Join them again. Select the back. Deselect the front. Rotate. Scale up. Select these two. Maybe this will work. A little bit, I guess. Like that. I guess it's okay. Maybe I'll remove this. That guy. No, it's out of place. Hold on, let me look for references. Usually there's 3 layers, but I have 4. I guess it's fine. We'll see in the final product. If it's bad, I'll just remake it. But yeah, this is good for now. We're gonna do this again, push that guy in. We actually don't need this anymore, because it just covers it anyways. We're gonna select this edge, Control B to bevel. Do it once. You use the scroll wheel or type again. You use the scroll wheel to increase like the how many bevels you do. And I'm gonna select these, push these guys up so they're not clipping. Do that and solidify, just like the other guy. Increase the thickness. I think that's too little. Might have been too little. Loop cut the center here, so I could do this. Double tap G. I'm typing in the value. I think 0.6 is good. Negative 0.06. Yeah. Makes it go inwards. Smoothes it out a little bit. Push this guy up. And for the bottom part, you press the period key on, yeah, not that guy, on your numpad. It's pretty much required. Press it to send yourself to this spot. I'm gonna press F to delete these center parts, make a face, and bevel this guy. And select this bottom face. You notice how the center is out of the mesh itself? It's because there's some like tris errors. What you can do is press Ctrl T, just triangulates it, makes it good. But that should be good for this. What we're gonna do though, since this is gonna be mesh deformed, we're gonna do. Actually, let me add an edge right here. Push this guy down and bevel. We're gonna have maybe like 2 of these guys. Select these individual size down by Z just to flatten them out, and push this guy up, and maybe like 3 times. Nah, 2 is good. 2 is good. Like this, basically. And I'm gonna mirror this because he has 2 of them. Click off merge. We don't want them to stick together, so you can like split them by loose parts. And what I'm gonna do, we're gonna move this guy back and up so it overlaps it instead of like clips of it. And I'm actually gonna scale this guy to be slightly longer, like that. And that's the base model done. What I like to do here is make another save. I'll just like save in the same file, Joseph Scarf save 2. You can see on here a lot of the time, so just say, oh, save 2, save 3, save 4. That's what I'm gonna do real quick. Okay, you can see I did save 2. That's pretty much it. Just so, and since I did another save, I could delete these guys. I could go back and just copy paste them back in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the stripes. So you go to material, you go new. I know this for 2.8 users, they automatically make you use nodes for some reason for the colors. 2.79, you just click it, you go into here, and change the color off the bat. Doesn't need to be accurate because you can just change it in Roblox Studio anyways. You can click plus to add a new material. We're gonna do yellow this time, and now we're gonna add the stripes. We're gonna push these two down. So, in case I screw up the stripes. And, okay, so I guess we do need these to split out. And we're gonna add the first ones at the center. Or the side. Looks good on the side here, actually. Let's do that, and we're gonna do a sign. Now you can see the yellows on here already. Okay, the quadruple flaps isn't bothering me that as much as earlier, but I want to combine these two, push these back, and make the back layer a bit thicker, like that, and not to let them clip. So let me select these guys and push it back. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Actually, I'll scale it down, like as a whole, like this. And maybe push this guy up to give, scale it down here, push it up. Looks like it goes back up over there. I'll add a loop cut here to smoothen it out a little bit, like that. Yeah. Okay. So now there's a bit more depth between these two for these two to come in. We're gonna add more stripes. Join these two again. Over here. Is that too far away? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do translate. We're gonna double tap G to move these two. I'm doing bevel for these, Control B. We did this earlier, and that looks pretty good. We're gonna delete the left part to mirror, so I don't have to do it twice. We're actually gonna push these guys inwards a little bit more, just making them thicker. Push them back in. Make these guys about the same thickness, and yeah, we're gonna add a loop cut here. Since they're already there, you might as well just, you know, adjust it to make it smoother. We're gonna maybe a little bit more. No, we'll see. Bevel, assign. That looks pretty good for the spot. This guy's clipping. Let me push that guy up, like that. And we're gonna add one between these two. So like that. Bevel. There we go. That's pretty good. Push this guy in, add a loop cut here, move this guy to make more space, bevel. Guys, why is that guy doing that? We're gonna switch to vertices to move this. You switch between selections. Vertices are these, lines are just two vertices, and face is a face, like that. I'm gonna go over this, bevel, assign, make this guy thicker actually, and you can add one here, yeah. Just got over. Why are you doing that? Do this. Bevel. Oh my god. That. Okay. Don't tell how I don't know how to say how I know, but the face changed here a little bit, and I can tell that it's clipping. Two vertices are clipping right here. Look. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just move this guy over here. Sometimes you just notice, I've been doing this for 5 years, so the fact that the way the face changed, I was like, oh, something is clipping. But yeah. So the backslash key, I think is what it's called, the one right under backspace. When you press it, it isolates whatever you're selecting. I did this earlier, but I didn't think it was important to mention, but now it is relevant, so I'm gonna say it. Makes it easier to do stuff like this. I'm gonna push this guy over, and Actually, it's this guy that's out of place. Do that, bevel, and boom. That's another line. This guy's 2 over. Go over here a little bit more, go here a little bit more. There we go. I think this guy. Never select both of them. Whenever you select face and double press G, it screws up everything. It's very annoying. Loop cut here. Push this guy's back to round it out. Why are you doing this? Do that. Select, bevel, assign. And those are the stripes on this part. I kind of want to... Okay, we're going to do this first, and I kind of want to do this. Because I realize there's kind of... I guess you can't really see in there, but someone's going to use headless. It's going to be very annoying. We're going to do it anyway, just so it looks good. Can I delete this? I guess I could. Okay, and what we're going to do, separate it. I want to push this guy inwards. This guy outwards, that guy inwards. So, like, it doesn't clip weirdly. Select more parts of it. This much, push it in, and yeah, there we go. Actually, want to do this too. See, this part is where you could benefit very much from using mirror, but I'm just lazy, and I cause more work for myself. Because I gotta select both of these, and I gotta make sure they match up. That just didn't match up, I gotta reselect. But yeah, like that, smooths them out, push this guy up, so it's less of an edge. It's pretty good. Now we deal with these guys. These guys are the same deal. Loop cut, bevel. Let me add the green and the yellow actually. Assign, and that's the thing. We're gonna add. Actually, we could just straight up use this bevel earlier for yellow. Yeah. Push these two down a little bit, and do that. Okay, we're gonna actually get rid of these bevels up until the point where they start moving. When you press Control Delete, it deletes them without deleting the opposing things, which is very helpful. Especially for textures. Whenever you move the stuff after you UV unwrap it, it glitches out, and Control Delete has saved my life so many times for stuff when I loop cut it. But we're gonna add. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, 2 here, 2 here. The reason why I don't adjust it is because they take the median, they do the math for you. You don't gotta guesstimate. But like that, it's actually too thin. Select, push it down. Maybe we can ignore that guy. Oh yeah, also, for loop cuts, what I like to do is I slide it to an existing edge, select all, and just remove doubles. It just gets rid of it. It's very convenient. We're gonna push this guy up. Bevel, assign. Let me push all of these guys down. Up there seems kind of packed. These two down here, and move these down, bevel. Move these down, bevel. And finally these two, bevel, assign. That should be all except it's too thin. Slide. There we go. It's too thick. That guy's too thick. There we go. So that's the base model. After the base model is done, I'd save again. Save 3 is usually when I start rigging, because obviously scarf mesh deform. So I'm going to do that. And now this is the final phase, the best part. Rigging is actually pretty fun. We're going to duplicate, put this guy out down there just in case. These guys are all going to be on the torso, so it doesn't matter. What we're doing is we're going to add a bone. And you can't see it well. I like to press S-ray, X-ray, so I could see through it. And the torso is actually 2 values. Like when you add a plane, and you extrude by 2 values, it's the same size as the torso. So this bone is the exact same size as the torso because it's gonna be called the torso. Renaming doesn't really matter, it's just for organization. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna rotate this bone down here. Since the only flowing part is gonna be this scarf, it's gonna start from the part that detaches, like right here. I'm gonna do that, and actually there's a line for us to follow right here, so we can move it down. And this is just one big bone. We're gonna extrude it later, but for now we're gonna do this. Align this guy with the center line. This guy's longer, so push it down more. And what we're gonna do instead, we're gonna separate by loose parts, and I'm gonna push this guy back by 2, push this guy by 4, and just do the same thing with the bones. Oh, this is like very important. I forgot to mention it. Object mode and edit mode. Object mode is where you can apply the modifiers, like for example solidify. You can only apply it here. If I add this here and go into edit mode, it won't let me. Edit mode is for you to edit vertices. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. For bones, there's a pose mode. We're gonna go into that later. But this is the bone for the scarf. We're gonna make it like, oh, not extrude, subdivide, like 5. Is that enough? 6. We're gonna make it 6. And again, renaming is optional. We're gonna name it right scarf 1. And one thing you can do with these bones is when you name something right or like R dot, as long as it is separated from another name with an underscore or like a dot or like a, I don't know if a dash works. It might. But what you can do, you can press space to the search bar, symmetrize, and it just does that for you. I did this with another different one. I forgot which one it is, but right, the 2 coats I just made that took 6 hours. I did that for the arms and like the cape itself. And we're gonna do again, name it. What I like to do is I copy it without the number, so I can just type it in. Go down. That's 3. It's 4. It's 5. It's 6. And we're gonna do one for this left scarf. Is that what I named it? Yeah. Left scarf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one thing to say about the symmetrize thing, when you symmetrize and then you use a mirror on a mesh, you can actually mirror the weight paint, which what we're going to go over right now, where basically you tell what what part it's supposed to manage. We're going to merge these 3 just for convenience. Go to weight paint. We're going to go to pose mode. This is another thing why I prefer 2.79. For some reason, 2.8, you have to individually click through every bone from the rig. Like, you have to do this, and then, like, click through the bones to, like, choose them. I don't know why they do that, but you do this, you select the bone by holding shift, and what we're going to do here is empty, because capes and scarves are relatively easy to weight paint. You could use automatic, but I don't trust automatic, especially when there's multiple parts. I tried using automatic for Star Platinum's hair, and it was the worst decision in my life. Okay, so like, this is how when I click this bone, it goes to the left scarf 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4. I don't know why 2.8 doesn't have that anymore, but it is very useful. And what I like to do, when you hold down Alt and you click, you can actually do like a gradient instead of painting each individual vertices. So that's why I said capes and scarves are easy. What I like to do is take the middle part of the bone and extend it outwards, so like right here. And obviously we're going to clear this guy after. We're just going to go through these. And you'll notice that the red goes all the way down. You don't want that because it's stealing weight from these guys. But since you have to adjust the weight thing over here, it's very annoying. So we're going to do it right here. Notice, like this. Now it's blue, which means that this bone only controls the red parts. The colors just mean how strong it is. Like, for example, I'm going to do this. The redder it is, the stronger the strength of like control right here. So when I do this, that guy moves that guy because this guy has this. So what we're gonna do, gonna just hold on, deselect, depaint, unpaint these, and we're gonna middle to center. This is the part where it controls this guy, these guys, paint them, these guys, that guy, and then finally this guy, and then this. Now you'll notice that like this bone controls, oh shoot, like this bone controls these parts, this bone controls this part. So when you go into pose mode, and then you can, this is like a trick, when you use individual, it rotates them individually. So now you can see this is how it would bend. And top part isn't moving. That's on purpose. It's attached to the center. We're going to do that right now actually. Make it 1, and we're going to do this, and then do that. So this guy controls these guys and that guy. So when I bend this, it takes a median. And we're going to do the same for this guy real quick. I'm actually going to move this guy out of the way. These two. X by 5. Actually no. By Z. And we're going to do this to the middle, 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 and then down here. And now we do this. We do this. That. Obviously, it doesn't have to be very accurate. If I wanted it to be accurate, I would have mirrored it and symmetrized it. But push these guys back down. And what we're going to do is, we want these two to follow this guy, so when this guy rotates, these two should follow it. So we're going to select these two, select this guy, Control P to make parent, and then keep offset. Because if you choose connected, like sticks over there, we don't want that. And now when I move this, these two follow, and then when I move these individually, they like do the thing right there. And we're just going to push these guys back. My go-to value is like 2, 5, and 1, I think. I never go 3 and 4. I don't know why, but I just like doing that. And there you go. That's the rigging done. And there you go. You can see when SmartBone reacts, it's going to do this. You can pose it, you can animate it, mesh deform, yada yada, do whatever you want. SmartBone selects one bone to be the center. That's why this guy's very important. This guy's going to be locked in. He's not going to move. And they're only going to react to these guys. So these guys move. If this guy moves, the whole thing's going to move. So we lock this guy. Those are scripting. I don't really know scripts. So I just do my part. Make that guy the center. And these guys react. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go through the process of exporting it and then porting it into Roblox. Because I had this issue for a while. Like, I spent my whole day figuring this out. Like, I'll get to it. What we're going to do, actually, I'm going to make a separate save file. Okay, you can see right here, export, because this file is for purely exporting. We're going to delete anything we don't want to go with it. This is the scarf and the bones. And right before I forget, I would go in here and split by material. This is why I brought this up earlier. Now, green is green, yellow is yellow. And since, you know, the accessories in ABD are supposed to be colorable, now you can switch the colors you want. And what you want to do, 3D cursor, Shift C again to center it, select all, size it down to 0.01. I don't know why Roblox does this. File, export, FBX. You click it, you click export, save it at a place you want. That's pretty much it. Alright, so now we're on the ABD plate. And basically, this is where I do my ABD stuff. These are all the models I've made for it. I post everything I make onto my YouTube channel, so a lot of the things that aren't sneak peeked are on there. So if you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed, so it doesn't matter. You file manager, asset manager. I don't really know how I opened this. I opened this like 3 years ago, and I've never accidentally closed it. So just look it up. Look up how you open it. You click bulk. Actually, no, you don't bulk import. It's a mesh deform thing. If you if you want to export like a stand or something that doesn't have a rig, you just click it, and then they'll like split all the parts for you. Like for example, arm, torso, whatever. That's that. But for 3D, I used to think you port it through, I forgot where, like import 3D or something. You don't do that. You click this guy. This is the new guy. It's very annoying. I spent a lot of time figuring this out. And you just get to your FBX. You can't see it because it's in a different window. Accessories, and it's called Joseph Scarf. Just click it. You can see a preview. I don't know if you can actually. It's a separate studio window. Import. And now it's importing, and voila, there it is. That's the scarf. And ABD likes smooth plastic, I think. Do that. and rename this again for organization. Scarf 1, Scarf 2, and make this guy green, just so I know they're separated, and that guy yellow. There you go, that's the scarf done. I like to do a thing where I'll take a dummy to know where to fit it. Usually the origin is at the right spot. So there you go, that's the scarf, and it's done to be sent to the scripters to do their smart bone magic. Yay!